What's up, bubbies? Welcome back to the channel. So we're just in the garage. We got the high voltage BBSHD. So we got the Buffon 1000-watt mid-drive, the BBSHD. We got the 72-volt do-it-yourself Samsung 40T3 battery. Still going. The spot welds are still holding together. We're still ripping. And then we've got the Flipski 75100 Pro V2. Get the V2. Alright, so the Flipski is a VESC-based controller. VESC is an open source platform for motor controllers, and it's very cool. So we're using the Flipski just because it's a VESC controller. Flipski is kind of like a cheap company, but hey, it's a good option for a controller currently. So as long as they're making a controller and it's a good option, I'll use it, even though they're kind of a company. So let's go into the VESC tool. This doesn't have anything to do with Flipski. This is part of VESC. So if you've got a VESC controller, you can use the VESC tool. It's available in the App Store. When you buy it, you're making a donation to Benjamin Vetter, you know, the guy that's making VESC. The V in VESC stands for Vetter, so Benjamin Vetter's the dude. Flipski is just some people over in China trying to make some money, but... Alright, so... I went back and I watched all of my BBSHD videos from before where I set it up with VESC, and I couldn't even figure out where did I ever set that thing up. Like, what is going on? So you guys should leave some comments about how my videos were shitty and how I never did like the BBSHD motor setup in a quick and concise manner. So let's just go set up the motors again. So let's do setup motors. Okay. So let's just load the default parameters. Let's just go and we're just going to completely load the default parameters in VESC to the default settings. Okay, so I'm going to do that and say yes. So you're only going to want to do that once, right? You're not going to, because now when I do that, I'm going to have to go back and go to the motor config and then go to, so I'm going to say we're going to change the battery cell series to 20 because that's 72 volt battery is 20S with lithium cells. Okay, so battery capacity is 20 amp hours. And then so the motor poles, there's 8 magnets on the BBSHD rotor. Let's see here. So general voltage. So we're going to go to the cutoff end on my Samsungs is 50 volts when they're in 20 series, and then we're gonna do like 68 volts. I'll start the cutoff start, and then when it gets down to 50 volts, it'll just completely cut off the battery because that's when my Samsungs are considered dead, as 50 volts. Okay, so then let's see here. Temperature. So we've got 10K NTC, and then this I need to change to 3900 to get, because that's the beta value for the thermistor that I have installed in my motor. So I've installed a thermistor, a temperature sensor in this motor, and really you want to be doing that when you're running a motor at higher power levels than it's designed for. You need a temperature sensor. And the BBSHD, a lot of them do come with a temperature sensor, but it's not actually like connected to the metal inside of the motor. It's just like an air temperature sensor, so it can be kind of laggy if you understand the concept of lag. Alright, so voltage, so then let's see here. So what else? So we gotta change this input voltage to the same that I've set my cutoff. So okay, so on a 72 volt 20S battery, now this is specific to my battery, the maximum voltage that we want to input is like 85. 84.5 is when this guy's fully charged, so I'll just put it at 85, just like slightly above that. Okay, alright, so that's what you gotta do when you reset the VESC parameters. It's like I went and fixed that. So once you save that, you can just leave it. But then when we go back into setup motors, we don't want to reset that again. So we're gonna hit no, or else we'd lose everything we just did. Alright, so it's gonna be generic. I'm gonna hit next. Then it's a large in-runner. We're going to change the motor poles to 8. And then just going to leave everything else. Hit next. So it's got all of this stuff saved. So I'm going to do battery current max. We're going to do just like 40 amps. So by default, the BBSHD is 30 amps. I'll make it like 40 here. So my front chainring for the gear ratio here, my front chainring is 46, and then the rear one is 42. So if we set that, later we can come to some kind of like mathematical value for this wheel diameter, and then we can get our speed calculating right. But there's a lot, like when you're using a mid-drive, and I don't have any like speed sensor, a wheel speed sensor with the magnet hooked up to the flip ski, so it's just trying to figure out how fast the BBSHD is going from the RPMs of the motor. But this is like a geared motor, so there's some math that has to go into figuring out your wheel diameter. And actually, what I do is I just go find a speed signal sign, and I just keep changing this wheel diameter until my speed matches reality. So we'll do that later, right? I don't know what it's gonna be. I'm gonna make it something like 25 millimeters, because that usually seems to be about what I need. So it says motor pole 8, so we're gonna run detection and hit OK. So now as long as your motor's hooked up and you've got seems like it was spinning backwards or something there. That was weird. The motor, I could hear the motor spinning, but the chainring wasn't spinning, and now it is spinning the right way. So when the motor setup gets done, we get all this stuff, right? So now if we hit forward, okay, so we got to invert this, and now hit forward. There we go. All right. So now that we've got our motor set up, direction is right, we're gonna hit finish. And so then you gotta set up your input, and that's your throttle. Okay, so set up input. So VESC, the pedal assist in VESC right now isn't very good, currently, as of the time of this video. So we're gonna do next. So we're using a throttle, ADC input, and then so we go up to the throttle, hit the throttle all the way. Okay, so I'm hitting it all the way. It says it's at 2.71 volts or something like that. Now I'm gonna let go of the throttle and then map that center point. So we're gonna go to where I want the center to be. And I'm gonna kind of map it so that center is kind of like a little bit more biased this way, and then apply and right. So now next. So now this is our control type. So this is all fine, right configuration, and then we'll hit next. All right, so now we can go, and when I hit the throttle, we should be in business. All right. And then so let's go see, before we go riding around, let's go see what we came up with here. So when you do the motor setup, it comes up with all this stuff. So now I know on the flip ski, the maximum current for the 75-100 Pro V2, you want to change it to 250 is what it says in the instructions. So if you have the flip ski, make sure that you have this absolute maximum current set to 250 amps. I don't know why they don't like have that set on the flip ski somehow automatically, but okay. So then the other thing that I'm going to do is we're going to FOC and then field weakening. And I like field weakening with my BBSHD because it has an IPM rotor and it works really good with field weakening. So we're going to give it 50 amps of field weakening, bubbies. And then let's see here. And then so if we go to general current, so the motor current max, I'm going to increase that a little bit. We're going to increase that a little bit because I got a BBSHD, buddy. So we're going to do 90 amps of phase current. That's a motor current max. All right, so absolute maximum current. Okay, so all right, so what else? We got FOC advanced. Then I'm going to go here and we're going to change MTPA algorithm mode to IQ target. We're going to write that. There's some information about that. Okay, so let's take this thing outside, ride around just briefly. We're just gonna briefly ride it around and get a feel for this. It's been quite a while since I rode the BBSHD with the flip ski and VESC, and I remember it doesn't have the virtual freewheeling like a phase runner does, and it's a little bit more rough. I think it's gonna take some work to get it working smooth with the BBSHD, but thankfully VESC is open source. We can write scripts, we can make packages, we can do all kinds of things to customize how VESC works. So that is my purpose in this world now, bubbies, is to get this working smoother. So let's go take it for a rip. What is that squeaking? Oh my, what is that? I'm gonna have to take that thing and... Alright, so setting VESC up with a BBSHD isn't exactly a straightforward thing. It's gonna take some work, boys, but we're gonna figure it out. I'm back to working on this. So I don't know, it feels kind of rough. Like, what's going on? Motor configure. What are we doing here? I'm gonna try something else here. MX Lemming. Right. That might feel a little better. I can tell this guy isn't gonna stop. You can just tell from when they're coming in hot, they're not stopping. What does my speed say here? Now this is a problem with the flip ski in the mid-drive, is like, we need that wheel speed sensor. Oh. So the phase runner has a feature called virtual freewheeling, where it can keep spinning the chain ring just a little bit, keep spinning the motor just a little bit to kind of like freewheel, and that helps with the mid-drive on a bicycle because it helps keep the drivetrain engaged. And so, like when the rear hub on a bicycle, that cassette thing, when it's freewheeling and it's clicking, it introduces some slack into the drivetrain, and then if you just give it full throttle, like the motor can kind of like slam into that. So it can be a little bit rough if you just like put the BBSHD on the flip ski. There are some challenges and obstacles to overcome. Now we're gonna figure it out. See what I mean down there? Alright, so one of the major things that we need to do is figure out a way to use the flip ski with a screen that we can actually see outside. So leave a comment if you want me to figure out how to get the psychoanalyst working with the flip ski so that I'm not going blind trying to see my phone. It seems like an honorable objective, hooking the psychoanalyst up to VESC. I'm just trying not to break anything. Another thing about the BBSHD and VESC is I think you could script it somehow so that when you first hit the throttle, it would just engage the motor very slowly and like kind of ramp it up in a really gentle way. There's got to be some way electronically to figure out like when the drivetrain engages. So if we had that, and then we had virtual freewheeling, we would be pretty set. And then if I could see everything on the psychoanalyst, or at least like my speed and stuff like that, that would be cool. See the voltage and stuff on the psychoanalyst. I think when I'm hitting bumps, I can feel the chain like bouncing around a little bit, even though it's pretty tight. I might need to get a different chain tensioner. I'm not sure about this thing. I'm kind of scared. It's very powerful, but it's just like, I need to write a script to tame it down in a very specific way so that I don't damage my motor or my bike. But when I'm like hitting the throttle and accelerating and stuff, it feels good. It's very powerful. It's just like it needs to feel smooth and so that I can ride it where I'm not gonna like explode something. But it works good. This is a crazy bumpy road right here. Oh. scared of all those bumps. Is that a statue or is that a fucking fox? What is going on over there? And it says we're going 26, but we're actually going, what, 30 something? All right, puppies. That was fun. Got the BBSHD out on VESC again. We gotta write some scripts and smooth it out and make it better. But I just wanted to get it out for a quick ride and see and just remember what it was like. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. What do you want me to do with the BBSHD and VESC? What features should I add? Virtual freewheeling? Smooth it out a little bit, smooth start. Let me know. Peace out, puppies.